All right, we got the goods for you on SportsCenter's Week 9 continues, wrapping up the early games with our team in the field at Werder and KC, Don Graziano in Pittsburgh, and Sao Paulo in Philly. Welcome to SportsCenter. Nabil and Zubin with you. Tim Hasselback is here. Ryan Clark's going to join us in just a bit. Lots to get to, lots of storylines. One of the most interesting storylines, I think, anyways, right now is Kirk Cousins, because over the past month, he has been on fire. He has, yet it was the other quarterback today with a little bit of help that might have gotten the last laugh. Let's run you through it. Vikings, Chiefs, of course, all your late game highlights to come as soon as they end. Thanks for hanging with us. No Mahomes. They got, let's see, the Titans next week. Maybe he'll be ready for that. Tim, Damian Williams, 91 yards to the house. But on this play, you can tell he might not be the fastest Chief on the field.
That was a great, first of all, it's an amazing play. It's a great play. But Tyreek Hill basically runs Williams down like he's standing still, just to give you a sense of how fast. I mean, and Damian Williams, by the way, he can fly. You see his top speed. And Tyreek Hill, that's just absurd.
It is. That gave the Chiefs a 17-16 lead. QB to QB, I know Mahomes will be back soon, but Matt Moore's acquitted himself really well.
I mean, I think he's more than acquitted himself. He's played fantastic. You think 35 attempts in this football game and not a single, interception. I think that he's got great command for what they're doing. I think it speaks to what Andy Reid's able to do with the various quarterbacks that have played for him.
The quarterback whisperer, Harrison Butker, who you're going to hear from on to win it in a knotted game with zeros on the clock. And the Chiefs, Andy Reid is fired up. They get it done. Look at Mahomes. Hey, stay away from him. Stay away.
Don't hurt me.
Careful there. 26-23, the final. As I mentioned, they do have the Titans next, and all systems go, you would think, for Mahomes. Mahomes said earlier this week if this was a playoff game, he would have been ready to go. So Tennessee, beware. After the made field goal, Butker thinking the same thing all three of us were.
I was sprinting down. I think that's just from my soccer background growing up. When guys score goals, they just sprint the other way. And I was going, I saw Patrick, and then I wanted to embrace him, but I'm like, no, he can't get hurt. So I just kept going. And then Tyreek was, encouraging me to go to the end zone and jump in with the fans.
He's got some fire to him. He's a tough kid because he took a couple licks there and he got back up and finished. But just him calming the storm, I thought was good. And that throw to Kels was big. I mean, that was, weren't quite sure how that was going to go, but it worked out okay for us.
It was a combination of they did some good job, with coverage, trying to take certain things away, and I missed a couple throws. We had longer third downs that made it harder to really be as productive and efficient with the down. When it's 3rd and 9+, it's a little harder to feel like you're getting an efficient result from the down. Penalties hurt.
They did, as Nabil mentioned, another good, statistically successful game for Kirk Cousins. You can't really pin this one on him. His record in his Vikings career, we kind of know what the deal is. People have said when you put Kirk Cousins under the lights or you put him in a big spot in the fourth quarter, which is the bottom line there on your screen, in some people's opinions, the real Kirk Cousins comes out. So that's the story with Kirk Cousins, and if Mahomes keeps celebrating like that, the other kneecap's going to have to be. So calm down there. Ed Werder saw it all happen, a dramatic victory. It's never as simple as it seems when we're talking about Tyreek Hill, but you cannot underestimate his impact on the field. Ed, I know you spoke to him after the game.
Yeah, Zubin, Tyreek Hill had 6 catches for over 100 yards, including a diving 40-yard touchdown play in the first half. But one of the highlights across the entire NFL this weekend will be a play on which Hill exhibited just how fast he is, and a memorable play on which he never even touched the ball. I asked him about catching Damian Williams, his teammate, on his 91-yard touchdown run.
I just want to say, D. Will always talking this smack about how he the fastest on the team or whatever. I had to prove. I was like, okay, that's D. Will, cool. Run him down. But it's all fun and games, man. We're going to watch film Tuesday, and we all going to laugh at that, you know what I'm saying? Because that was fun, and that's why we play the game, and have fun, you know what I'm saying, and have memories like this, you know what I'm saying? Go Chiefs, baby.
Tyreek, congratulations.
Thank you. I love you, Mom.
Well, according to the NFL's next-gen stats, Tyreek Hill hit a max speed of 22.6 miles per hour. That's the fastest he's ever been timed in a game while he was trying to catch up and lead Damian Williams into the end zone on that 91-yard touchdown run. That is, Zubin, the 6th fastest max speed for any player in the league in a game this season. And I was going to ask Damian Williams in the locker room about that, but after we finished Andy Reid's press conference, Damian Williams is holding up the media in there because he's been drug tested by the NFL, so he can't talk to us until he passes the NFL drug test.
Yeah, apparently it's the only way to slow those two guys down. Otherwise, it's just off to the races. Mahomes probably back next week. They're hoping with the Tennessee Titans awaiting 1-1 with Matt Moore under center with Tyreek Hill certainly helping out. That's our Ed Werder thriller at Arrowhead.
All right, let's move on to the Colts taking on the Steelers at Heinz Field. Second quarter game tied at 3, and this was important right here. Jacoby Brissett, incomplete pass to Jordan Wilkins. That doesn't really matter. What matters is Brissett has downed him on the field holding his leg.
Yeah, this one looked ugly. Quentin Nelson just kind of gets pushed back into him. And, one of the worst things that happen to quarterbacks are when they're in the pocket and guys are around their legs. And it seems like he gets an ankle and a knee there. He clearly was in some pain.
Yeah, he would not return. So Brian Hoyer coming into the game, 3rd and goal. Hoyer taking the snap. And not looking rusty here, finding Jack Doyle up the middle for the touchdown.
That's a great route by Jack Doyle. Kind of little stutter step, fakes like he's running the stick route, comes back inside, and good start for Hoyer.
3:15 left in the half, same score. Colts in the red zone. Minkah Fitzpatrick, how good has he been for Pittsburgh?
He's been incredible. I mean, he basically is almost been the best defensive player for the Steelers when you think about his impact, and obviously a huge one there when you look at the situation of the game, kind of just before 2 minutes left in the half. It's outstanding.
96-yard pick six for him there. 1:15 left in the game. The Colts trailing 26-24. Adam Vinatieri, that should be money.
That should be money, and this was so bad. And I know what you're going to say. The laces are facing. I get it. Yeah, laces out, whole deal. He just seemed like he mishit that one, though.
Ray Finkel, man. Ray Finkel. Finkel's Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. You don't care about the reference, I'm sorry. Anyways, doesn't matter. 26-24 the final for these Steelers. It wasn't pretty, but they got it done. And Pittsburgh now 4-1 in their last 5 games. Their plus 11 turnover margin is the second best in the NFL behind the Patriots. Coach Tomlin, what do you think?
Good to be 500 at the turn like we talked about early in the week, given where we've come from. It's going to still be a while. We'll work forever trying to get that September stench off of us, but that's life in this thing, and I appreciate the effort and the fight. It's good to be sitting at 4-4. I never thought I'd hear myself say that.
Jacoby, when he hurt his knee, was in the tent for a while. He just had to make the decision. I really don't think he was good enough to go. We made the best decision for Jacoby and for the team, really, to hold him out.
So the Steel Curtain, they're staying afloat in the AFC North largely because that defense has been showing up. After struggling in the first 3 weeks, the Steelers ranking top 5 in the NFL in scoring defense and takeaways and have produced a league-high 23 sacks going back to week 4. Dan Graziano joining us now from Pittsburgh. So let's be honest, a win is a win, but in this situation, from a viewer's perspective, it wasn't all that pretty. What were the players saying about it afterwards?
Yeah, they don't care. The Steelers absolutely are fine with an ugly win. Cam Hayward, their defensive lineman, told me, I don't care how we get it as long as we get that W. Obviously, defense, a big part of this, defensive stops. Hayward told me that Mike Tomlin challenged linebacker Bud Dupree in practice this week. I asked Dupree about it. He said, yeah, he put me up on the big board. He said, they run to your side. You've got to take on Quentin Nelson. You got to get it done. Dupree responded with a couple of sacks, couple tackles for loss, forced fumble and fumble recovery. Big game for Dupree and a clutch game by the Pittsburgh defense.
And you talk about that defense, Minkah Fitzpatrick has been outstanding. He's been a difference maker in a short time with Pittsburgh. Why is he fit in so well?
Well, they obviously needed help in the secondary, but if you talk to Steelers people, the reason they got Minkah Fitzpatrick and traded a first-round pick for him was not just to help this year's team, but because they think he's a good investment long-term. And so far, so good. Had the interception return for a touchdown. Again, when you go into the winning locker room, it's always fun, but especially hearing linebacker Vince Williams just shouting at the top of his lungs, Kevin Colbert's a genius for trading for Minkah Fitzpatrick. Genius, he said over and over again, talking about the Pittsburgh GM. Look, they're 4-4. They started 0-3. They're back in the conversation in terms of the playoff hunt, and the Steelers are pretty fired up about that.
Yeah, no doubt. Through all that they've been through, being 4-4 in that playoff hunt right now, pretty good standing right now. Next week to get the LA Rams. Thank you, Dan.
Okay, so let's talk about the turning point in this particular game. Everybody will talk about the Shank field goal at the end, but you're honing in on something else, a guy who you a couple of minutes ago said you can't get enough of.
Yeah, I mean, Minkah Fitzpatrick is the guy that makes the play. And Brian Hoyer, I want to point out, he actually came in and played well. But when you have two teams that are fairly evenly matched, you can be one mistake is the difference in the game. And that's what happens. You look at what the Colts are doing. They're going to scheme block, meaning they're going to pull the left guard, Nelson, and run a play-action pass because they're trying to get influence on these linebackers here, trying to get them to step up because they're basically going to run 4 verticals where they're going to run the 2 inside guys on a seam. And Fitzpatrick, who's not in the screen, he's just deep enough here. He's the quarterback guy. So he's the guy that the quarterback has to beat. So there's the guard pulling. Okay, here comes Nelson. He's going to do that. That's going to get the influence from these linebackers. And if we just run it, it basically works because you look at Jack Doyle, who's the intended target. He is beyond the underneath coverage. Okay, so it's already worked from that regard. But it's Fitzpatrick that makes the play. And so, we know that he runs it back for a score. But when you look at what Brian Hoyer was looking at, this is the guy that he needs to beat. Now, because the ball is on the right hash and Fitzpatrick is in the middle of the field, Hoyer really should, coming off of the play fake, do something to hold him. At least, look to the left, look at him, try to bring him that direction. He doesn't do that. And so Fitzpatrick, you just see him just drive on the football. And so it's just a little thing like that that's subtle that can be the difference in the football game. I mean, it's that plain and simple. And when you play a really good player like Fitzpatrick obviously is, you can't make those mistakes or they will make you pay.
I think the line of the day came from Mike Tomlin. We just heard him say it, but he even chuckled as he said it. We're 4-4. I've never been more thrilled to say that in my career. That says something for a guy that's won a Super Bowl and is the head coach of a 6-time Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And even seeing this team, again, in those first few weeks, struggle on defense, kind of weird because they've been known for that defense. Tim will be back in a few moments, but we have other things to get you caught up on, including racing.